Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Mm. Wow, that was nice. I'll tell you what, guys, one of the things I love the most is actually being able to come out here and just listen to the sounds of nature, to smell the air, hear the rain come down if it's raining, or hear the birds singing if it's sunny and nice or whatever. And it just helps to really clear the mind. And that's one of the things I truly love when I go on my walks and talk about crypto, is because I go on those walks and it's really just so therapeutic for me. And I love just being outside. I love nature, and it really does something for the heart. I'll tell you what. I think most of us would agree that this world is more fast paced than it has ever been. And it's almost like you have to conscientiously make a decision to take time away from that fast paced stuff, mitigate your stress level and just kind of bring the levels down and get some kind of peace on the inside. Because I'll tell you what I see out there right now in our space, of course, in this digital asset space, and the broader space of what comes out from the fifth estate, all the media and that, it's just to keep people so wound up and engaged that really, how does anybody have any lasting peace in situations like that? I was reading an article this morning on AI and this particular app that's available, I guess, on iPhone, and it allows people to have discussions like with Jeffrey Epstein or with Hitler and stuff like that. And I was thinking to myself, look, are we not already inundated with practically every kind of distraction that you could possibly imagine? How would that be a positive influence to entertain people? I mean, if I'm going to be, wanting to talk to someone like, it's not going to be people of the likes of Jeffrey Epstein or Hitler, number one. But number two, these folks are, you're talking about AI giving you the ability to kind of have conversations in that aspect, with some really, and it's not really a real conversation, but it's just the way in which all these apps, you can just see of all the things that are used to distract us and stuff like that. And you kind of think to yourself, well, what's all this stuff anyway? Because the reality is, have you, watched something, you see people get on there and they get riled up, like really riled up over, particular things, and and without any release valve, you know what I mean? And it just causes such a big disturbance. And unfortunately, a lot of us are literally addicted to this kind of stimulus all the time. Just, constantly having to have our minds engaged in something. And it really, I think the long lasting effects of that have made it so people don't really, know how to debate with one another anymore without getting, offended or really, really, really worked up, or, allowing someone to even have an opposite point of view. It's like this cancel culture. You're not even allowed to, to think any way differently. And you got to question that long term. Now, having said all that, I remember the days where I had to work at least 16 hours a day just to put food on the table. And so, look, I didn't get so much of an opportunity to kind of have downtime. My downtime was literally sleep and then next day up and back to work. And I remember that. I remember the days, man, when I could only afford one tomato. I kid you not. And so, for those of you out there that are having to keep your nose to the grindstone just to make it, I want to commend you, because I'll tell you what, life can be hard like that. And I remember those days, to be sure. But for the majority of folks that aren't in that capacity, and, just think about how much are we allowing ourselves to get so distracted and causing ourselves to just get eaten up alive. And that's how they manipulate us, guys. I'm telling you right now, don't think there's not an agenda about it. There is an agenda. It's to keep us distracted while they do this stuff over here kind of deal and get our attention all over here. It's been a known thing that they've been doing with media for a long, long time. And on top of that, they don't want us to actually kind of get off the treadmill, start to do some critical thinking for ourselves. This is really about hurting the masses. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And it's been going on for a long, long time. And then when you do actually see, some people step up and say this or that or take independent thought, boy, they shoot them down as fast as they possibly can. Huh. You want an example of that? Well, this second article that I was reading is really kind of telltale, if you ask me. Well, apparently, scientists have now discovered that, eggs are causing people to develop blood clots and drop dead instantly. Couldn't be anything else that was going on there that's all of a sudden causing healthy people that normally, would never experience any of those symptoms to just absolutely drop dead. I mean, we've been eating eggs. I've had eggs my whole life. Now, hey, I get it. There's people out there say, hey, eggs are not part of my diet because, look, I don't think they're really healthy. They cause cholesterol and what. And I get that. But it's like this whole sudden dropping dead thing because a person has had too many eggs, I think is a little over the top when you consider how long, I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of years, and people weren't just dropping like flies like they are today, because of eggs anyway, unless they're putting something in the eggs, who knows? But my point in saying that is you see some of the narratives coming out there that almost it's like, don't use your critical thinking about anything. You never know. I mean, people can't be just dropping dead for no reason, obviously. And so it's got to be this. And so they put out a narrative there, and you don't know how much legitimacy there really is to it because look, I was actually reading an article, I didn't really report on it, but it was a while back. And that food pyramid they had where, had the milk, eggs, cheese and all that and what portions to eat, thus and such, chicken and everything like that. And that was the health thing. Well, they came out with another one, and this one was funded by all of these big producers of mass-produced food. And you wouldn't believe it, but I think something like Cocoa Puffs and something like that was more beneficial to you to eat than real food, if you can believe it. And you can just see the narrative has been bought and paid for. And of course, us, like all the sheeple that they want us to be, we just follow suit. It's just crazy. So my kind of remedy for all that is you kind of take a step back, right? You take a step back, you think through, you think, man, is it really worth the stress that this bringing into my life for me to participate in that? And having said that, guys, I remember when I was getting new into this digital asset space, I would be picking up my phone every morning. The first thing I do would be grabbing my phone. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is really affecting me. I'm going to stop doing that because I didn't want it to become a big, big habit that the first thing I started looking at were the charts and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I truly hope that you're having an amazing day. Middle of the week, hump day, and it's been a great week thus far. I hope it's been a great week for you. We've got an absolutely fantastic video planned for later on this afternoon. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have been reaching out to me, because I've had some folks been reaching out to me via email, whether it's, getting me on my personal at david@thedigital.outlook.com or writing me on coaching or whatever, and they're wondering, hey, how come he hasn't responded? Guys, it might be going into your spam. So check your spam box to see whether or not, my responses to you from emails and things like that are going into your spam box. Take a look there. It's probably over in there because I actually had somebody say, hey, look, I actually found your email. It was in the spam box. So, just take a look at that and you'll probably see that I have responded. Anyhow, guys, I hope your day is going absolutely fantastic. And until later on this afternoon when we have another great video to release to you, take care and have a good one.